special task force set up to monitor CMCO compliance. VPN disbursement for new applications, successful appeals to be made in mid-May. Good evening, thanks for joining us. You're watching News on 2. I'm Azlani Adani. Malaysia has recorded another 30 new positive COVID-19 cases, which bring its total to 6,383. In his daily briefing today, Health Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said there have also been 83 recoveries and 1 new death case reported in the last 24 hours. Dr. Noor Hisham also said that the total number of patients who have made a full recovery from COVID-19 now stands at 4,567.
Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia ingin memaklumkan bahawa terdapat 83 kes yang telah pulih dan dibenarkan discharge pada ward hari ini. Ini menjadikan jumlah kumulatif kes yang telah pulih sepenuhnya daripada jangkitan COVID-19 dan telah discharge daripada ward adalah sebanyak 4,567 kes, iaitu bersamaan dengan 71.55% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes. Duka cita dimaklumkan terdapat 1 pertambahan kes kematian berkaitan dengan COVID-19. Justru jumlah kumulatif kes kematian COVID-19 di Malaysia adalah sebanyak 106 kes, iaitu bersamaan dengan 1.66% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes.
Dr. Noor Hisham also said that all 30 cases were local transmissions. He also said that as of now, there are 1,710 active cases, where 24 cases are being treated in the intensive care unit, ICU. From that amount, 8 cases require the use of ventilators. The government has decided to set up a special task force to ensure that the standard operating procedures, SOPs, under the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO, are being adhered to at all times nationwide. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the Health Ministry has authorised 14 agencies, namely the Police, Army, RELA, Immigration Department, Road Transport Department, National Security Council and others to be part of the task force. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said with the implementation of CMCO, which came into force yesterday, the focus had shifted from the restricted movement of people to the strict compliance of SOPs by business premises owners and individuals.
PDRM juga telah mengarahkan ketua polis daerah di setiap daerah untuk menubuhkan pasukan pematuhan PKPB ini di peringkat daerah. Pasukan ini akan dianggotai oleh anggota tetap, iaitu PDRM, ATM, RELA, APM, dan kita bersetuju pagi ini untuk memasukkan pihak berkuasa tempatan untuk menjadi anggota tetap pasukan pematuhan PKPB di peringkat daerah.
Datuk Seri Ismail added that in early stages, the police would advise first before taking any action. He said if the approach was ignored, then legal action could be taken against them in accordance with the Prevention and Control of Infectious Diseases Act 1988, Act 342. Despite a certain anticipation of chaos, the compliance of SOP is high among individuals and businesses on the first day of the CMCO yesterday that saw almost all economic sectors resume operations. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the situation was reported to be under control despite a significant increase in the number of vehicles on the road yesterday.
Begitu juga dengan individu. Kebanyakannya kita lihat juga mematuhi peraturan yang dikeluarkan. Walaupun tidak semua, kita tahu bukan 100%, tetapi kebanyakannya mematuhi. Misalnya apabila memasuki premis perniagaan, beratur, memakai topeng, muka dan sebagainya, tidak berebut-rebut memasuki premis perniagaan dan sebagainya. Begitu juga dengan kenderaan-kenderaan awam. Semalam ditunjukkan bagaimana pematuhan di MRT misalnya, LRT. Duduk berasingan 1 meter, malah berdiri pun ada petak-petak yang disediakan dan penumpang-penumpang di MRT dan LRT juga mematuhi SOP yang dikeluarkan. Ini menunjukkan bahawa norma baru itu telah mula diikuti oleh dan menjadi budaya kepada rakyat kita.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also hoped that the rakyat can make the new normal as part of the Malaysian culture, thus prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection. Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, has decreed for the rakyat to comply with the Conditional Movement Control Order and SOPs issued by the authorities. Sultan Sharifuddin also urged the rakyat to adapt to the new norm, including wearing face masks and observe good personal hygiene. Sultan Sharifuddin reminded the rakyat to only leave home when it is absolutely necessary, avoid congregating in large groups, including breaking of fast gatherings and weddings, as well as adhering to social distancing rules. His Majesty asked that Muslims celebrate Hari Raya with their immediate family members this year without needing to return to their hometowns. Sultan Sharifuddin also paid tribute to the frontliners for their contributions and sacrifices in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is scrutinising a proposal to suspend the implementation of the Section 17A of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009, which should be carried out on 1st June. MACC Chief Commissioner Datuk Seri Azam Baki said this was due to demands especially from companies that were not prepared for the appropriate anti-corruption plan.
Dan juga masalah perniagaan mereka sendiri yang nampak merudum, dan mereka memohon untuk mengambil masa dalam tempoh katanya lebih kurang 1 tahun katanya untuk menjana semula perniagaan mereka. Jadi kita prihatin juga perkara ini. Namun demikian, seperti saya katakan tadi, pihak saya akan meneliti dulu permintaan ataupun request daripada pihak-pihak yang berkenaan.
Datuk Seri Azam was met after being sworn in as the new Chief Commissioner of the MACC at an oath-taking ceremony in Istana Negara. Section 17A of the MACC Act 2009 was passed in Parliament on 5th April 2018, providing for a law that enables companies engaging in corruption to be charged. UMNO President Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's daughter, Datuk Nurul Hidayah Ahmad Zahid, and her husband, Datuk Saiful Nizam Muhammad Yusof, both received a fine today after admitting to breaching the movement control order before the Putrajaya Magistrates Court. They entered their guilty plea after the charge proffered under Prevention and Control of Infectious Disease measures within the areas was read out to them in a closed court. The issue surfaced after Datuk Nurul posted pictures of her and Datuk Saiful along with Deputy Environment Minister Ahmad Masrizal Mohamad and Minister in the Prime Minister's Department Zulkifli Muhammad Al-Bakri on her Instagram account on 20th April. They were subsequently criticised for violating the MCO implemented in March to curb the spread of COVID-19. Investigations were conducted under a provision in the Penal Code for negligence likely to spread the infection of any disease dangerous to life, as well as infectious diseases regulations. Lawyer Ahmad Zaidi Zainal, who appeared for the couple, said his clients were invited by the Deputy Minister's private secretary to discuss Earth Day, which fell on 22nd April. Assisted by Rosal Azimin Ahmad, he urged the court to give them a warning or to let them off with a fine. However, Deputy Public Prosecutor Noor Ashikin Mokhtar said the invitation, which was issued through a letter, was no excuse for the two to breach the law. A fisherman pleaded guilty to the charge of sodomizing his wife, which was among 7 counts that include unlawful confinement and possession of pornographic video compact discs, VCDs. The 36-year-old from Manjung pleaded guilty to all of the charges that were read before Sessions Court Judge S. Indra Nehru. For the sodomy offence, among the other charges, the accused was charged under Section 377C of the Penal Code, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years jail and whipping. The offence was committed at a house in Kampung Padang Tembak, Lumut, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. on 16th April. The accused was also charged with unlawful confinement of his wife at the same address on 16th April until 12 p.m. on April 18th. For this offence, he was charged under Section 340 of the Penal Code and punishable under Section 324 of the same Act, which carries a jail term of up to a year and a maximum 2,000 ringgit fine or both. The accused was unrepresented and Deputy Public Prosecutor Naidatul Athira Azman requested for no bail to be allowed as both the victim and the accused were living under one roof. The court, however, allowed bail of 32,500 ringgit for all charges with one surety and set 8th May for sentencing. 4 individuals were caught red-handed preparing to pack sahur for their customers, which happened to be filled with drugs. They were caught when police raided their house at Kampung Tanjung Ulu Melaka, Langkawi, Kedah at midnight last night. Langkawi Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Iqbal Ibrahim, in confirming the arrest, said the suspect, aged between 21 and 29, tried to escape but was foiled by the raiding police team. Upon investigations, police discovered 2 transparent plastic packets and 12 straws filled with heroin, weighing 38.22 grams. They also found another plastic packet believed to contain 0.33 grams of shabu. Superintendent Muhammad Iqbal further elaborated that all suspects tested positive for the drug morphine, added that one of them also had a previous criminal record. The 4 suspects are currently being held under remand for further investigations under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drug Act, 1952. Coming up, Bank Negara cuts OPR rate to lowest in 10 years. Payments for new applications or appeals for the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional BPN will be made beginning mid-May. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said that as of 29th April, nearly 2 million new applications and appeals had been approved, entailing about 1.5 billion ringgit. Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul also said that in line with the latest development, it is expected that an additional allocation of at least 1 billion ringgit will be required over the original BPN allocation of 10 billion ringgit.
Mulai 4 hari bulan Mei semalam, pembayaran fasa kedua akan dibuat secara berperingkat. Ini kepada 8.3 juta penerima B40 dan juga M40 yang diluluskan sebelum ini. Ini bernilai 3.7 bilion ringgit.
During the first phase of the BPN payout ending last week, 5.5 billion ringgit had been given to 7.78 million recipients, up from 7.74 million recipients involving 5.47 billion ringgit in the previous week. Meanwhile, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul said all 10 core initiatives in the Prihatin Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package Prihatin have been implemented, comprising 95% of the total package valued at 260 billion ringgit. The Finance Minister said this percentage included all government aid that had begun to be channeled through the recipients, including the Special Prihatin Grant JKP for micro enterprises announced in the additional Prihatin SME package. The minister said the government had allocated 2.1 billion ringgit for GKP, which was open for applications on 1st May. It involved dispersing 3,000 ringgit in grants to active micro, small and medium enterprises, registered with the Inland Revenue Board, Companies Commission of Malaysia and local authorities as at 31st December 2019.
Permohonan dibuka sehinggalah 15 Mei 2020. Keputusan akan diumumkan pada minggu pertama bulan Jun dan pembayaran dijangka akan dibuat pada hujung bulan Jun. Untuk maklumat lanjut, silalah layari gkp.hasil.gov.my.
The Minister was speaking during the tabling of the fourth report on the Prihatin Package implementation by the Interagency Economic Stimulus Implementation and Coordination Unit, Laksana. Malaysian organisations are experiencing a greater business impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but fewer are adopting people cost reduction when compared to Asia-Pacific APEC findings. According to a recent survey by Korn Ferry, 31% of Malaysian companies are expecting their 2020 revenue to decline by over 30%, compared to 22% of companies surveyed in APEC. The global consulting firm, in a statement released today, said of the 31%, around 2 in 5 organizations anticipated that their revenue will decline by more than 50%, which is one of the highest in the region, signifying the economic cost the global pandemic has on the country. Despite the outlook, 83% of organizations in the country said they are not currently considering permanent staff layoffs or redundancies, with the most commonly implemented measures for people cost management focus on pay vehicles like salaries, short-term incentives and annual bonuses. While companies are doing everything they can to contain people cost, they are also looking at how to provide additional work support to staff as most of their workforce is working from home. For instance, 40% of Malaysian companies have or are considering to provide allowances or to cover Wi-Fi and or utility expenses for office-based employees who now work from home. Within APEC, the research found that there are differences in people-related cost containment approaches between firms in ASEAN and Australia and New Zealand, with the latter taking tougher measures. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM has slashed the overnight policy rate OPR by 50 basis points to 2%, its lowest level since 2010. In a statement today, the central bank said the ceiling and floor rates of the OPR corridor have been correspondingly reduced to 2.25% and 1.75% respectively. The statement said global economic conditions have weakened significantly. Measures to contain the COVID-19 pandemic have disrupted economic activity across most economies. Financial conditions have also tightened amid elevated risk aversion and uncertainty. It said with the decision today, the OPR has been reduced by a total of 100 basis points, complementing other monetary and financial measures by Bank Negara Malaysia, as well as fiscal measures this year. Together, these measures will cushion the economic impact on businesses and households and support the improvement in economic activity. The Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, will continue to monitor the outlook for domestic growth and inflation. The bank will utilize its policy levers as appropriate to create enabling conditions for a sustainable economic recovery. MCA Vice President Senator Datuk Seri T. Lian Ke today took his oath of office as Deputy National Unity Minister before the King, Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah at Istana Negara. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin was present to witness the oath-taking ceremony, which was held at Balai Singgasana Kecil at 11 a.m. Also sworn in at the ceremony was the new Chief Commissioner of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, Datuk Seri Azam Baki. Both T and Azam also took their oath of loyalty and secrecy before signing the official appointment documents. Witnessed by Chief Justice Tan Sri Tengku Maimun Tuan Mat and Chief Secretary to the Government, Datuk Seri Muhammad Zuki Ali. Datuk Seri T, 58, was appointed as a senator in 2018 and his senatorship term will end next year. He was formerly Teruntum Assemblyman for 3 terms, 2004-2008, and Indra Mahkota Assemblyman from 1995 to 2004. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Azam, 57, was appointed as the MACC Chief Commissioner to replace Latifah Koya on 9th March. He formerly served as MACC Deputy Chief Commissioner for 4 years from 2016, Intelligence Director 2013, and Investigation Director 2015. National Sports Association (NSA) requiring special training facilities for their athletes involved in the Road to Tokyo RTT program have been asked to submit their applications to the special ministerial meeting on the implementation of the Movement Control Order. Youth and Sports Minister Dato Sri Rizal Marikan Naina Marikan said this applied to RTT athletes who needed specific facilities like badminton courts, swimming pools and gymnasiums. Dato Sri Rizal also suggested that these NSA submit their applications for high-performance sports facilities to the special ministerial meeting chaired by Senior Minister Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob after Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Dato Sri Rizal said this after holding a video conference with representative of NSAAs who also taking stakeholders of the RTT Elite Training Program to discuss the latest qualifying process for the Olympics and Paralympics, plans for training programs and also programs carried out by associations, including state-level development programs. He also presented guidelines on the standard operating procedure developed by the National Sports Council (NSC) and National Sports Institute (NSI) for sports which are allowed to be held during the Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO period, like golf, athletics and cycling, as well as for sports not allowed to be held during the CMCO but which can conduct training sessions outdoor. The NSAS which joined in the video conference were from badminton, athletics, sailing, cycling, karate, gymnastics, golf, para-athletics, archery, powerlifting and boccia. That concludes this evening News on 2. In our top story, special task force set up to monitor CMCO compliance. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Azlani Adani. Stay tuned to TV2 and have a pleasant evening.